hybrid recommendation system, which is a combination of collaborative recommendation and content based recommendation. Since we are already done with the collaborative recommendation and content based recommendation in last two videos, and for the sake of simplicity, I'll make this implementation as simple as possible, because after this implementation, I will be covering 3 to 4 projects on this, so the concept will be more clear when we will be doing some projects. Okay, so I'll make sure this implementation is very easy to understand, because it's just a combination of the two different type of recommendation that we have already done. So let's start implementing. So first of all, we need to import some libraries, so let's do that first. That is import random. Okay, then so let's define a user ID, okay, for which we want the recommendation. So define a user ID. Okay, so let's define user ID to be 123 as of now. Okay, you can replace it with any actual user ID, and I will also be implementing the collaborative recommendation and content based recommendation, the simplified version, because you already know how it works. And if you are new to this video, I recommend go watch the past 2 videos, so that you will get the understanding. So let's write the simplified version of collaborative recommendation and content based recommendation. So for that, let's create a function. Okay, so simulating collaborative filtering. Okay, so let's define a function with the name get collaborative recommendations, and we will be taking only one argument, that is user ID. So let's create a book list with book A, book B, and book E. Okay, so this is our data set. Now what we will be returning is book equal to random dot uniform 0.0 comma 1.0 for book in random dot sample book list. Okay, as well as how many recommendation you want. So I said 3. So this is a function for getting collaborative recommendation. Again, I'm telling this is just a simplified version, and if you want to implement the whole collaborative recommendation function, you can just go back to the previous tutorial, and then you can use that code for that. But since I'm just showing the simplified version, that's why I just completing as soon as possible. Okay, now we have to do the same thing for content based recommendation. So let's create a function for that as well. So simulating content action. Again, it will take only one argument, that is user ID, and let's use the same data set, book list, and we'll return this thing. Okay, so we are assuming that collaborative recommendation are based on the user item interaction, and we are generating random book recommendation for the user. So this is what it does, same thing. So we are using the same code for content based recommendation, and we are assuming that content based recommendation are based on book features, and again we are generating random book recommendation for the users. Okay, and this particular part of the code is basically generating a random recommendation score between 0 and 1 for the selected book. Okay, so So I mean, it will construct a dictionary where each book from the randomly selected 3 books is associated with the randomly generated recommendation score between 0 and 1, and that is the same thing we are doing for the content based recommendation. Okay, so in summary, these functions simulate generating recommendation for a user by randomly selecting book and associating them with a random recommendation score. So it is just mimicking the behavior of recommendation system based on collaborative or content based strategies. Okay, so you can just remove this part. Okay, and you can replace with the code that I have shown in the previous videos, and that will also work. Okay, so for the sake of simplicity, I am doing this this way. Okay, let's run this. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to set up variable for getting top and recommendation. Okay, so let's do that. Get top and recommendation. So let's define top and to be 3, and let's get the recommendation from these two recommendation method. So assuming we have collaborative and content based recommendation. Okay, so collab rec system equal to get collaborative recommendation, and here we will be passing the user ID. Same, just copy it. Content recommendation system, and let's call it. Okay, so after calling it, we will have some recommendation. So this is what it is recommending for the user 1 to 3. Okay, with the specified score. Okay, now what we need to do is we need to combine the recommendation, and we can do this by simple averaging. Okay, so let's do that. Combine recommendation. Okay, so what we can do is get the intersection of books collaborative and content based recommendation. Okay, so common books equal to set of collaborec dot keys dot intersection dot keys. Okay, so you must have question why we are doing intersection here. So the purpose of computing the intersection of books between collaborative and content based recommendation is to identify a book that both system have recommended, and this intersection represents a subset of book that both recommendation system suggest to the user. Okay, so you can see we have common A and E, right, in this one. So by taking intersection, the code is filtering out the book that are recommended by the both collaborative and content based system. So this might be valuable in the context of hybrid recommendation system, as it focus on book that both system agrees upon, which could lead to be have more robust and you know very efficient recommendation for the user. Okay, so that is the purpose, and after that let's combine the recommendation for common book. Okay, so let's create a dictionary for it to store it. So hybrid recommendation system, so for book in common books, divide by 2. Okay, So what we have done here is we have initialized an empty dictionary to store hybrid recommendation, and we iterate through the set of common blocks, and we calculated the hybrid recommendation score for each common block, and it compute the average of the score recommended by both system for the book. Okay, and after that let's print out the hybrid recommendation. Is ready. So for book comma score inserted hybrid rec dot items equal to true, and then print book comma score. Okay, so let's run this. So what we have done here is you know we have sorted the hybrid recommendation by score in descending order, and we are retrieving the top end recommendation, and lastly we are printing each book along with it, recommendation score. Okay, so we can see for the user 1 to 3 we have recommendation of book E and recommendation of book A with following score, which means that, I mean, it is saying that 88% chance that this particular user will like this book E. Okay, so so this output suggests that the user, with ID 1 to 3, I mean the hybrid recommendation system suggests that the book E and A, with a score approximately 89% as well as 58%, and the score is a representation of the preference or likelihood of the user interest in the recommended book. So in this case, a higher score indicate a higher predicted preference or relevance of the book to the user taste or preference. So again, the score is computed based on the hybrid approach, which likely combines collaborative filtering, okay, and content-based filtering, uh, uh, you know, which is basically recommendation based on the book characteristics of feature. So the value indicates the combined estimated preference for book E and A, derived from the different recommendation system, which is very strong, and I mean, so this is how it works. Okay, so this is how our hybrid system combine the result for these content based and collaborative filtering result, and then it is used for recommending products. So nowadays this type of algorithm is used to suggest product in top e-commerce websites, Amazon, Flipkart, different other websites as well. So yeah, so I think this thing is clear how hybrid recommendation system works. Okay, and in the next video we will be implementing some projects where we will be diversely we will be using all these three method, and then you will have a clear understanding how to use this type of methodologies when we have a real-time projects. Okay, so hope you guys like this video. So see you in the next video. We will be starting the project part, and again it will be very interesting to have a project, and like I told you, it will be 3-4 projects. So I'm guaranteeing you that you guys will learn and you will be master in this domain. I also like this field, so that's why I'm very curious to share my knowledge that I have learned in the past few years, and yeah, it will be fun. So thank you for joining, guys. See you in the next video.